What do you mean, like in 100 years?
You know what's crazy to think about?
No,
Yeah.
like 1,000 years.
Yeah, in 1,000 years is crazy, but in
Yeah.
100 years is crazy.
Yeah. And you know what's even crazier is we might be alive for that because all this longevity shit.
Yeah, if we stop drinking from plastic.
I saw a psychic once at a Asian wedding that I went to that she just was there and she was doing shows and she was like, you're going to live to be 180 years old for some reason. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
How long do you want to be around?
I feel like early 90s is pretty comfortable.
Okay.
But not if I'm crippled and feeling terrible. You know what I mean? Like if I'm like carrying around oxygen tanks, no way, man. No. But yeah, right? I feel like that's pretty reasonable. Why you're like forever.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about how fast technology moves right now.
Like,
and like what has happened from 100 years ago to now. If you look at
Oh my
even looking at the
God.
Challenger, right? The Challenger that went out in 70, whatever,
Yeah.
and how far it is, how close it's coming to the Oort cloud. Versus, so you would think like, hey, if we send something now, it's gonna have a great head start because 50 years from now, it's gonna have a 50-year head start. But really, now the technology is so different, we could get there past it sooner.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just exponential.
They didn't think it was going to make it that long anyway. I always, you know, the movie Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence.
I, for whatever reason, love that movie so
Okay,
much.
you know what always made
and
me...
have watched it a lot.
I don't... Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you love about it?
The feeling I have watching it, and I don't know what that is yet.
feeling?
The feeling I have watching it.
Oh, man.
There's something about the combination of...
It's like despair.
But there's something comforting about, like, they're out in this, you know, they're traveling out in space far away.
Yeah.
There's so much time. So it is scary. And then what happens, the concept of the movie, for those of you that haven't seen it, is you're going from Earth to another habitable planet that is 120 years away, traveling at whatever speed, and they're all frozen, but something happens, an asteroid hits something with the energy, and one of the cryo chamber things, and Chris Pratt ends up waking up 90 years too soon. Yeah. What is he going to do?
I love how you know all the details. You're like, it's precisely 90 years.
I remember that. I'm almost positive that's what it was, because the way I'm visualizing, and this is a numbers pattern thing I'm picturing, it was just... one goes, three left.
Do you have that, what is it called, aphasia or something, when words are colors or like the days of the week?
That's music, isn't it? And synesthesia.
Yeah, but there's different forms of it.
Maybe. I don't have the music one.
I feel like you have one, right? Because if you always visualize something with numbers.
Well, 90 and 120, it's 3 and 4. They've gone 25% of the way. So those are numbers.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just kind of...
I was thinking back to the structure that you were building.
Yeah,
sometimes. I was like, oh, okay, maybe.
I have a way of visualizing and doing things that it feels like special and unique to me and those that could do it.
Yeah.
But I don't see it as something that I understand how to implement into something valuable. Does that make sense? Like I'm not a great mathematician.
You're like, I have these skills and they're fucking useless.
One of my best friends, shout out John DeWalt, has brought this to me like, hey, in a kind, supportive way. Like there are certain things that I do. Everybody has things that they do and they're unique to them. The combination is my version, because he knows me a little bit more intimately than maybe other people. Like, how do you take this memorizing 100 numbers in an hour? These random things that are like, oh, that's an interesting party trick. How do you take advantage of that into something creative or whatever? And like,
that's the businessman in you thinking though.
Well, there's also craft to the art that speaking for myself, being a stand-up comedian, there is craft to it as well. There's like structure, which isn't necessarily the same as being funny, but if you're doing an hour, it's different than doing 3 20-minute sets. So there is a mindset of like, how could you, like knowing what you're good at so you could lean into it. For example, you chose math because there were more women in it. If instead you chose what you were good at or what you wanted, for better or for worse, you would have been guided by something that was leading you through something internally versus externally. And I do think knowing what you're good at, maybe even more importantly, knowing what you're not good at, gives you the choice of choosing to... I'm not a great engineer. Maybe I could be. I don't think I would be.
I'm not either. Yeah, I get it.
So when I don't know how a car works and someone says, do your research, I don't want to waste my time doing something that somebody else could do better than me.
Yeah. Well, that's do you value money or time, right? You value your time.
I mean, feels like a philosophical conversation, but what's the difference? I mean, if you have
There's
a lot
big difference, yeah.
Because if I remember, do you remember the movie Vampire in Brooklyn with Eddie Murphy?
No, I know so few movies.
Well, he was a vampire and from the vampire days, and then he came back around in the 80s or the 90s.
This is a real movie?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
And I remember thinking, maybe it was a story point, but I remember thinking like, you could have so much money if you're around for 1,000 years. You know, so like if
like in Twilight, they're all rich.
Because time is money, baby.
Well, I mean, so that was, again, another thing that like my parents' lessons where you have to choose what you care about more, money or time. Do you want to learn how to do this thing and spend all your time and no money so you can do it yourself? Or do you just want to save your time and spend your money on it so somebody else deals with it? Okay, so that was like...
So there's an equilibrium there of when one would be worth it for the other. And I feel like I have a great analogy here. Refinancing a mortgage.
Oh my God.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay.
Wait, no, it's like learning the rules of a new game. No, just listen to 30 minutes. I swear to God,
I can do this in 30 seconds or less.
Okay.
You want to get it, let's say their interest rate is 6.5, right? And you're like, well, the interest rates are going to go down, but you want to get the house now. In a year, it'll go down to 6. How much money is that 5% actually worth over how much time? Meaning, well, you could refinance in a year, but it'll cost you X dollars.
And you lose the house. You wouldn't get the house. It'd go to somebody else.
Right. So if you could learn how to change your own tire, and it might take this much time versus having somebody do it, and it takes significantly less time, and you're never going to have to change your tire again, or only one or. I got a better analogy.
Here it is. Rewind.
Are you ever you want to rent a movie? And it's $3.99. To buy it is $5.99.
Oh yeah.
And the thought is, well, if I watch it twice, I should buy it. I don't think I'm going to want to watch it twice.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're not going to watch it twice, rent it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to always have AAA and you're living in a metropolitan city and you don't want to spend so long to learn it, you could always learn it later. But what does taking this time to learn this skill? If you're just going to be sitting on the couch, sure. But what does this time cannibalize when you could be doing something else, working on a different craft? You can't be the Cheesecake Factory. You have to just pick the things that you're able to do.
God, the Cheesecake Factory. The Bible of menus.
There's just so many things. God. So at what point is it worth learning how to change your own tire, start a fire, all these things that are valuable and you should know to do? Changing your own tire
I would say it's not valuable information.
It might not be more valuable than something else.
Yeah.
I think everybody should know how to change a tire. Yeah. Even if you've never done it before.
For sure. But starting a fire, holy shit, you don't need to know how to do that. There's so much knowledge in my brain that I'm like, I do not need this.
Well, if you want to start a fire, why don't you just read some comments about you or anybody about themselves on Reddit.
I don't even look. I can't look at that stuff because it's just, I literally lose my fucking mind. Like,
well, then how do you know about that PhD guy that keeps busting your balls?
Because he stitches, so I get a different alert for that, and I always see the same name, and I'm like, "Oh fuck!"
That's how shit comes to me. People will send me not stitching, but people will send me messages personally or messages of posts that people have made, and then I open it and I go, "Fuck!" and then it goes down a rabbit hole, and I read some more. I'm like,
but
nope.
Like your friends are sending it to you.
No, I mean,
you have your messages open for anybody.
Yeah. Oh my God! But
that's brave.
They go into the you have to accept it. So
yeah,
once I've accepted it, there's a better chance of me seeing it. I don't read all my messages,
man.
But I do. I like to interact. I mean, I'm big on my Discord, by the way. Shout out to my Discord. I'll put the link is in the description.
All the plugs.
I like interacting with the people that watch this.
Meanwhile, I'm like,
because they're mean to you.
No, I'm just like not that person. I don't even know how I got involved in all of this. I'm just like,
it's not a blanket. It's not like a blanket statement. Would you say that because of the way you grew up?
No, yeah, probably. I am a woodland person in my soul. Like if I'm at an event and I'm getting any sort of attention, I feel really like, oh God, I hate this.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's.
I go, give me a microphone and listen to this.
Yeah. I feel like you'd be so comfortable. I am like not super into being in the center of attention. So it's.
I'm not always comfortable with it. So your discomfort, you might be at times, one, I think is at times kind of defining the discomfort that they feel as something that they need to avoid.
Oh yeah, but I don't, right? Because I do still do this like for a living, right? I'm still on.
What a luxury, huh?
Social, yeah, woo! It does make more money than I expected, which is a real shocker. But I mean, I'm still on social media all the time. I still have to go to events all of the time. I still have to be in front of people and schmooze and network and all that. So I do stuff that makes me uncomfortable, and I still do it anyway.
Is the majority of your money coming from TikTok?
No, it's
Was it ever?
No, it's like 20%, I'd say.
Where's the majority of money coming from?
Sponsorships, collaborations, things like that.
That they are buying for you to post on TikTok.
So they pay a lot.
That's what I don't mean is TikTok paying you. I'm saying what you do on TikTok
or Instagram. Yeah, TikTok or Instagram. It's kind of hit or miss. It's usually, or sometimes it's both. But
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I cannot believe the money that was in it. Like, I thought I was going to be spending the rest of my life in a lab just like staring at a piece of paper. Like, I thought that was going to be my life. Yeah. And then it turned into like this very...
Marshall Mathers, who spends his time in a lab with a pen and a pad.
I mean, like, that job would be a lot cooler, I think. Music in general is cooler. But like, I thought that was going to be my life. And then to be in front of people all the time and have to talk to people all the time was just not what I expected.
What is the talking
so it's like
all the time
learning
if
curve.
the majority is on social media?
Because I have to interact with people. There's people I have to impress that I'm like literally just this past week I had to deal with. I'm not going to say who it is because I haven't signed an NDA, but still I'm going to be on the safe side. But basically this person's on the same level as Elon Musk. Everybody knows who this fucking person is. And I met with this person's
Well,
team.
you just told me who it is.
No, it's not him. But it's like, like everybody knows who that person is, and it's
Horizon
kind of in that world. I'm just not gonna, but anyway, so I met with their team recently and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, are you kidding me?
What would they want you there for?
I'm interviewing the person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's cool because I want to pick their brain, but that's all I'm thinking
You're
about.
You're not interviewing the guy, you're interviewing somebody part of it?
No, I'm interviewing the person.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm like, I just wanted to pick their brain because when I first met them, they're like, what would you talk about? I'm like, oh my God, I want to ask them about this and I want to ask them about this. And I went down this rabbit hole and they were like, okay, this can work. But then they're asking me like, what do you want the set to look like? And I'm like, bro, I have no idea. I told them straight up, I'm like,
where are you doing it?
I don't want to say because I feel like because I think this person is the only one who has a studio in that area.
Got it. So Washington.
You're just like trying to narrow it down. But yeah, it was just like, it was bonkers to me because I'm like, how am I here?
Where's it going to go?
Doing this.
Like, where are people going to watch it?
Probably on my pages. And I think they have their own, marketing teams and
exciting
stuff. And yeah, I mean, it'll be really cool. And one of the questions they asked me was like, are you easily intimidated or do you think this? And I was like, we're all just sacks of flesh, dude. And one of them laughed and I was like,
do you get intimidated?
Sometimes it depends on who it is and what they've done. Oh shit.
Your tune changed.
You're like, woo. Well, I mean, for that I wouldn't be because it's just like me and this one person in a room like together.
Can I give you a couple packages I need to return?
Why? What is it? Oh, what is it, like a Tesla? Do you think it's not Elon Musk, I swear to God.
No, I just have some packages from things I had mailed to me that I have to send back.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I like where your head's at. I like where you're trying to guess. And
am I wrong? Am I wrong?
It's on that level. It's definitely like I'm going to stop because
is it LeBron?
I can't resist.
It's LeBron.
That would be so unrelated to anything that I. But yeah, and so anybody who wants to do this kind of job, if you really want to go into social media, you better be prepared for it to be successful, and then have to like show up every day and do stuff that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would take that. That would be like people who want to be in the NBA. It's like, yeah, but you're gonna have to practice a lot. I think that people like to practice.
I don't like to be in front of the camera a lot. Like, it makes me really nervous. Even when I was a musician, you know what my job was? I was a demo singer, specifically because I'm alone in a booth and I'm not in front of an audience. That's why I liked doing it.
What do you like about this?
Well, this is easy because there's no audience or anything. Right?
I don't mean this podcast. I mean, this is in what you do. What do you like about it?
I love researching and I love helping people understand stuff. It's like the highlight of my life. And especially people who didn't know how anything worked before.
But isn't that what you have to be in front of people to teach them it?
Yeah, that's the price that I pay, is this discomfort that I don't want to do that part, but I do like the explaining things to an individual. And I just happen to be good at it, apparently, that a lot of people want me to do it for them. And so it turns into a crowd. And then I'm like, oh God. Yeah.
In a perfect world, what does it look like for you? If in that perfect world, you don't feel much discomfort.
I could have all those interactions one-on-one.
So everything one-on-one and the audience is like this. The audience is watching later.
Yeah.
Now, question, what about live television? Where it's you in a studio alone, but a lot of people are watching at the same time.
Probably, maybe. I don't know. Remember the thing that I did this summer that I was asking, I was like picking your brain, like, what do I do? That was a lot of people. There were like 40 or 50 people that were in that like setting. And then I'm interacting with 10 people who are all screaming at the same time. That I was pretty nervous for at first, but then I kind of got comfortable with it, but still was uncomfortable a little bit like the whole time. So yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Is your plan at the moment to continue growing your online audience and doing this, but maybe you'll be interviewing people of higher status, but like you want to be doing and creating content from home or from a location of your choice relatively alone? Yeah,
because I like picking people's brains too, you know, especially people who know way more than me. I mean, like, it's super awesome. So that I would be totally fine with. I mean, we'll see how this interaction goes in a couple of weeks. But yeah, this
is coming out in not even a week.
Oh, I meant the one that I have to do.
Is that? Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So like, it'll be really interesting to see how I do with that. Cause I'm pretty good at picking people's brains, but I don't know if I've ever like done like what you're doing. Like I've never really been on that side of it.
I don't know if you could do what I'm doing.
I don't know either. I'm not on Undateable. I'm not a stand-up comedian. Although I did a stand-up comedian competition once. I got second place when I was like 14 years old.
Who beat you? Esther Pravitsky?
The 18-year-old boy who was hella funny. So he had every right to beat me for sure. Yeah. But it was pretty cool to get second place, though.
Who was that guy? It was Mark Norman, wasn't it?
No, it was just like, it was in my like hometown and shit. It was like, whatever. It was just, you know, small town shit.
Well, if he's funnier than you, I got to get him on the pod.
I mean, he is pretty funny. I don't know whatever happened to him. But yeah, it was because I was 14 years old and I was still making like a lot of innuendo jokes with the cord that I had that was connected to the mic. And that's how I got second place.
As in like, look at this really long vagina?
No, well, because how they did this competition was they gave you a setting and you had 30 seconds to figure it out. And mine was like, you're in a pit full of snakes. And so I was like, what the fuck? I got the weirdest one. Everybody else got something kind of normal. And I'm like, in a pit full of snakes. Yeah. And so I was using the cord that I was connected to.
It's interesting because as a researcher, somebody who is getting this topic of being in a pit full of snakes, it would suck if Indiana Jones got that.
Yeah. I thought of him and I tried to make references to that, but people weren't reacting to it. So I was like, not that. So I started to go more towards like perverted jokes, but without being super perverted. Yeah. Cause I was 14 years old. I was the only girl too.
Well, is it okay if I were to say, I like your decision? Or would you prefer to say you chose wisely?
You have chosen wisely.
Damn. You like remember all that stuff. Like,
once you visualize something, it's there.
I guess so. I got to come up with like some more tricks in there.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah.